call is now being recorded.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in last class we were saying about the chain surveying. Okay. So we have seen different type of chains, different type of stations, triangulations. So and also we have seen about the offsets. Okay, perpendicular offset and oblique offsets. Okay. Now we will go for traversing. Okay. Traversing is one of the important thing. Okay. In traverse survey, a number of survey lines are connected to form a framework, and the length and the direction of the survey lines are measured with the help of angle measuring instruments and a chain, respectively. Okay. So these are your stations A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay. So here you can see the lines are the lines will start from this end. Okay, and we are taken from B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F, and F to A. Okay. So the first line and last line are joining. So what we will call this one as a closed traverse. Okay. Okay. So this is nothing but the closed traverse, and the length between the station A and B, it is measured with the help of chain. Okay, and the angle. Okay, if you take the angle between these two stations, it is measured with the help of the compass. Okay, or sometimes we will use the help use geodesic line. Okay, so here you can see this is a closed traverse. Sometimes there will be an open traverse. Okay, like this. This is station B, station C, station D, and station E. Okay, this is nothing but the open traverse. Okay, what is a traversing? A traverse consists of series of straight lines. Okay, like this, series of straight lines of known length. Okay, related to one another by knowing the angle between the lines. Okay, so we will know the angle. If you take some plot, okay, so this is a rectangular, the angle between this plot is how much? 90 degree. Okay, so we will know, we'll be knowing the length, and also we will be knowing the angles also. Okay, the points defining the ends of the traverse lines are called as traverse stations. Initially I have said station A, station B, station C, and station D. Okay, the traverse survey is method of establishing control points, their positions their position being determined by measuring the distance between the traverse stations, that is the distance between the station A and station B, which serves as a control points, and the angle sustained at the various stations by their adjacent stations. It may be 30 degree, or it may be 20 degree, or sometimes it may be 120 degree, whatever. Okay, we have two types of traverse. Initially, I have said one is open traverse and another one is closed traverse. Okay. Here you can see this is a open traverse. An open traverse originate at a point of known position and terminate at a point of unknown position. Means the initial points and the starting point and the finish point or end point are not same. Okay. Therefore, this is a open traverse. I will call this one as station A, station B, station C, and station D. Okay, and I will be knowing the length. This is 2 meter, this is 4 meter, this is 5 meter, etc. Whatever it may be, and the angle it will be 20 degree, This will be 270 degree. This will be 180 degree. Oh, sorry, 160 degree. Okay, like this. Okay, this is the open traverse. Okay, this you can see in the road alignment. Okay, right? Road alignment. Then we have closed traverse. Michelle, I have explained a closed traverse originate and terminates at a point of known positions. Means if this is your station A, it will start station B, station C, station D, E, and again A. Okay, the initial, the initial and the final stations are same. Okay, then we have different types of instruments, that is compass, theodolite, total station, box, sextant. Okay, so in this subject we will see about the compass and the theodolite. In advanced serving we will see about the total stations. Okay, so in this semester we will see about the compass and theodolite. Okay, what is a compass? First I will show you the figure. This is the compass. Okay, it will be having freely suspended magnetic needle. Okay, and the northern side will be made in a red in color. Okay, it will be like this, and the north side it will be made in red in color. It will be pointing towards the geographical north. Okay, so with the help of that one, we will take the reading. Okay, how much angle it is there, 20 degree, 30 degree, okay, or it may be 170 degree, whatever. Okay, so the compass is an instrument used for measuring the bearing. Bearing is nothing but the angle. Okay, that is the angle between the magnetic meridian and the line. Okay. Some special types of compass are there: prismatic compass, elastic compass, rough compass, and surveyor compass. So this one is important. Rough compass we will use in the plane tables. Okay, and we will see about the surveyor compass. So here it will be this is a compass. Okay, we will having some veins. Okay, eye vein, guide vein. Eye vein means you will keep your eye here. Okay, you will see through this point, and you will sight or you will see the another station called station B. You will be standing at station A, and you will see the station B through this line. Okay, this is the guide vein. We have magnetic needle, fixed graduated plane, means it is a type of scale. Okay, here it will be mentioned some angles. Okay, and we have bubble tube to make it horizontally, means this is your bubble tube, and this is the center. The bubble should be at the center. Okay, this is the bubble. Okay, means it indicates that the table or your instrument is perfectly horizontal. If it is inclined, means this is your bubble. Okay, this is your center. Bubble will occur at this point. Okay, which indicates that your instrument is not leveled well. Okay, and here we have screw which will attach to the tripod. Okay, so we have two types of compass, that is prismatic compass and surveyor compass. Okay, the first one is the prismatic compass, another one is the surveyor compass. So first we will see about the prismatic compass, then we will go for directly differentiation between the prismatic compass and the surveyor compass. Okay. See, this is the cross section of or the sectional view of the prismatic compass. How means it will give the detailing. Okay, whatever it is there, it will be consisting of the reflecting mirror. Okay, object to vein with the horse hair, means it will be a hole like this where a thin horse hair will be provided such that you can see through this one. Okay, sunglasses will be there, eye slit will be there. So we have many other things. Okay, lifting pin, clamping ring, glass, cover glass, graduated circle, magnetic needle. Okay, this pivot. Okay, and here we have glass, brake pin, lifting lever. Okay, so these are the some parts. I will explain each and everything. What is the use of these parts of things? So just look up the figure. This is the prismatic compass. Okay, and here also I will show you. This is a prismatic compass. Okay, here you can see the reflecting mirror. Okay, observing, and this is the horsehair. Okay, here you have some shades. Okay, here you can see some graduated scales. Okay, and here you can see the pivot, and it's the figure is little bit blur, so you can't see some parts below it also. So this is the prismatic compass. So we will see each part one by one. Okay. Surveying compass, the prismatic compass is a magnetic compass which consists of the following parts. Okay. The first one is cylindrical metal box. Okay, means it will be covered with the metal box. Okay, cylinder metal box is having a diameter of 8 to 12 centimeter. It protects the compass and forms entire casing of a body of compass. Means it's like you are getting a mobile in a well packed manner. Okay, while you are buying a new mobile, it will be packed in a cardboard box. Okay, so the same way it is also is covered with the metal box. Okay, so this is its lid. Okay, it will be you can close it. Okay, such that these glass veins does not get disturbed or does not broke down. Okay, so cylindrical metal box, it protects the compass from dust, rain, etc. Okay, next we have oval. Okay, I have shown you that it will be at downside, it will be like this and will be supporting. Okay, pivot is the provided at the center of the compass and supports freely suspended magnetic needle over it. Over means above this the magnetic needle will be suspended. Here you can see, here you can see above which the magnetic needle is supported. Okay, next we have lifting pin and lifting lever. Okay, this is not important thing, but you should know what is the use of these parts. Okay, so lifting pin and lifting lever. A lifting pin is provided just below the side vane. When the side vane is folded, it presses the lifting pin. Okay, the lifting pin with the help of the lifting lever then lift the magnetic needle out of the pivot point to protect the damage of the pivot head. Means you this lifting pin. Okay, so what we will do while we are closing, so what we will do, we will fold this one, this lever. Okay, and this also we will fold. While folding, what happens, here you can see it presses this lifting pin down. Okay, and what happens, this pivot and the magnetic needle comes down and it protects from the damages. Spring brake or brake pin. Okay, to damp the oscillations, means when you open the compass it will be shaking. Okay, it will be vibrating, it will not stand very still. So what we do, we will apply the brake. Okay, means while you are going in a road, when you feel if there are any road humps. Okay, what you do, you just apply the brakes just to control the car and avoid the vibration. The same thing here also, we use the spring to break down the oscillation. Okay. Next we have magnetic needle. Okay, the magnetic needle is the heart of the instrument. Okay, this one here you can see magnetic needle. This needle measures the angles of the line from the magnetic meridian. and a needle always remain pointed towards the north and south. Okay, initially I have said when you open the compass, it will be pointing towards the north south direction. Okay, it will be always pointing towards the north south direction. If you rotate it, if you do anything, it will be rotating in the north south direction. Are you able to see my mobile screen?
No, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I'm showing actually I should take the prismatic compass and I should explain in the class, but it is not possible now. So what I'm doing, I'm using the app in the mobile, okay, and I'm showing you how the prismatic compass work and how we will take the angles, okay. So 1 second, okay, you can see uh, the north side it is marked with the red color, okay, and it is pointing towards the north side only. So what I'm doing, I will take two stations, station A and station B, okay. Now I pointed my device towards the station A. You can see the arrow mark here, 166 degree south, okay. This arrow mark, what I'm doing, I'm pointing towards the station A, okay, and it's showing the reading how much, 166 degree, okay. Similarly what we will do, we will take in the prismatic compass, okay. The same way we will take the reading with the help of the prismatic compass. Now I want to take the angle between the station A and station B. What I will do, I will rotate my compass towards the station B. See, I have rotated my the compass towards the station B. How much it is showing, it is showing 244. Okay. Then I want to take the station angle with the station C. So whatever I am rotating. Okay. At every rotation, the angles are changing, but the needle is always pointing towards the north. Okay. See, I am rotating, but the needle is always pointing towards the north side. Okay. This is how, with the help of this prismatic compass, we will take the angles, or we will call it as bearing, magnetic bearing angles. Okay. So I hope you have got some idea how the prismatic compass works. See, now this, okay. Now what I'm doing, I will call this one as first quadrant, this one as second quadrant, this one as third quadrant, and this one as the fourth quadrant. I know I hope you are got you have some idea about the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant. Okay. Now see what I am doing. I am pointing towards my first quadrant. Means the upper arrow mark you can see 142 degree it is showing. Okay. Now you can see the north side it is pointing towards the third quadrant. Now slowly I am rotating. Okay. It changed to the fourth quadrant. Okay, but it is always pointing towards the north direction. See, I am rotating, but still it is pointing towards the north direction. Okay, so this is how we will take the readings. Okay, come back to the main screen, laptop screen. Virtually explaining this subject is very horrible, but I'm trying my best to explain you because this is a completely practical based subject. Okay, but I'm trying my best to give to make you understand well. Okay, so we have seen about the magnetic needle. Magnetic needle is the heart of the instrument. This needle measures the angle. Okay, this needle measure angles of a line from magnetic meridian, uh, and needle always remain pointed towards the north and south pole. Okay, just initially I have showed you at two ends of the needle with when freely suspended on the end of the support. Okay? So if you take any if you anybody having the magnet at your home, okay, what you do, just tie a small thread on it and freely suspend it. Okay, freely suspend the magnet in the air. Okay, it will always point towards the north side. Okay, then we have graduated circle or a ring. Okay, it is like a protector. Okay, it is the protector will be of 180-degree. Okay, here it will be of 360-degree. Okay, it is like protector. This is an aluminum graduated ring marked with 0 degree to 360 degree to measure the all possible bearings. Bearings is nothing but the angle bearing of the line and attached with the magnetic needle. Okay, the ring is graduated to half a degree. Okay, then we have prism. Okay, prism is used to read graduations on the ring and to take the exact reading by the compass. Okay, with the help of the eye, we can't take the exact reading. Okay, because the graduations are very small, we can't see. So, with the help of the prism, what we are doing, we are taking the readings. Okay, it is placed exactly opposite to the object vane. The prism hole is protected by the prism cap. Okay, once you come to the college, I will show you the compass. Okay, we have a number of compass. So by seeing that with the virtual eye, with the eye, you can understand what is the prismatic compass. Okay, next we have object vane. Okay, object vane is determinantly opposite to the prism and the eye vane. The object vane is carrying a horse hair. Here you can see it is carrying the horse hair. The object vane is okay, or a black thin wire to sight the object in a line of eyesight. Okay, eye vane means from where we keep eye and we will see the object. Eye vane is a fine slit provided with the eye hole at the bottom to bisect the object from this slit and to take the reading simultaneously. Okay, from here to here we will see the object from station A to station B. This eye vane is provided with a prism. Okay, initially I have said you prism and can be lifted up and down by the stud to bisect the object of higher level. Okay, you can lift this up or down. Okay, here we have glass cover. Okay, which one you can see here? Glass cover. Sunglasses are there. Different types of shades are there. Okay, and reflecting mirrors are there. Okay, glass cover. It covers the instrument box from the top, such that needle and graduation ring is seen from the top. Okay, just as it acts as the screen guard. Okay, sunglasses with the help of different shades are there. These are used for some Illuminate, sorry, emulsions objects are to be bisected. These are placed in front of the eye slit, and in the bunch of 3 or 4 shades are there. Suppose while taking the reading uh, near your sorry near while you are watching from here to here. Suppose there is a sun here. Okay, you can't take the reading. So what you do, you just apply the different shades. Okay, such that the light is eliminated little bit or sharpness of the light will be eliminated and we can bisect the object very easily. Okay, reflecting mirror, it is used to get the image of an object located above or below the instrument level. While bisection, it is placed on the object when here it is used. Next we have tripod. Okay, this is the tripod stand. Okay, above which we mount the compass. Then we will see about the working principle of the prismatic compass. Okay, when the needle of a compass is suspended freely, it always points towards the north. Therefore, all the angles measured with prismatic compass are with respect to what? Northern direction, that is magnetic meridian. Okay, the horizontal angle, okay, horizontal angle made by a survey line with reference to the magnetic meridian in clockwise direction. Okay, we will go in clockwise direction. In clockwise direction is called as bearing of a line. Suppose here you have one station called station A, here you have another station called station B. Okay, now what I'm placing my compass here and I'm taking the reading here. Okay, now this will be the angle. Okay, this will be the angle or bearing for A and B station. Okay, and you should take in always in clockwise direction. Now here it is in clockwise direction. While using the compass, it is usually mounted on a light tripod which is having vertically spindle in balls and socket arrangement to the to which the compass is screwed. Okay, this is your tripod stand. Okay, so here we will have some vertical spindle and here we will have some socket like ball socket like, okay, we can tilt it and we make the compass horizontally, okay, perfectly horizontal. We will see simultaneously this one also. Temporary adjustment of a prismatic compass. Okay, so before taking the reading, okay, I will draw the diagram. This is my compass. Okay, this is my tripod stand. Okay, to make you understand very well, okay, some of you people have done TikTok. Okay, you have used the tripod stand, okay, or you will call as a mobile stand. Okay, what you have done, you mounted the mobile, okay, on the tripod stand and you made the some adjustment. Okay, when you mounted the mobile, it was some like inclined in shape, it was not perfectly horizontal or it was not perfectly vertical. So while doing some TikTok videos and something or some photography, you have made some preliminary adjustment before taking some snaps or some videos. Similarly, here also, before taking some angles or some bearings, we will do some preliminary adjustments. Okay, what are those adjustments? First one is nothing but this centering. Okay, the second one is leveling, and third one is focusing. Okay, the word itself explain the things. First one we will go for the centering. Centering is the operation in which compass is kept exactly over the station, exactly over the station from where the bearing is to be determined, such that here I have one station A, I have another station B, I have another station C, and I have another station B. Now I want to take the reading from station A to station B. So I should keep my compass exactly over this station. Okay, I can't keep my compass here, 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 or somewhere. Okay, I should keep my compass over the station A and I should take the reading towards the B. Then I want to take the reading between bearing between B and C. Then what I will do, I will keep my compass at this point. Okay, then only you will take the reading. This procedure is called as centering an instrument towards that station. Okay, we will call it as a centering. Centering is checked by dropping a small pebble from the underside of the compass. So, what we will do, if I draw the front elevation, this is my compass, this is my tripod stand. What I will do, I will take a small stone. Okay, I will take a small stone and I will drop it. Okay, When I will drop it, it will fall vertically. Okay, and suppose this is my station A. If I marked here, it should fall on that point A only. Initially, what will happen? Suppose this is your compass tripod, and here there is a station. Okay, so what you do? Just take the small stone or pebble, drop it. When you drop it, it will fall here. Okay, this is my station. Okay, and it is falling here. What we should do? We should move the instrument towards little towards the right hand side, such that the when you drop the pebble, when you drop the stone from below the tripod, and it should fall it on the station A. Okay, this is called as centering, or you can do with the help of the plumb bob also. Okay, if the pebble falls on the top of the peg, then the centering is correct. Means if you have marked the station A, okay, if it falls on that correct station, means it is okay. If not, it is not correct. Then you should move your instrument with respect to the direction. Okay, okay. Then the centering is correct. If, if not, then the centering is corrected by adjusting the length, legs or the tripod. Okay, you can move the instrument or you can just move the tripod also. Then we have leveling. Okay, initially I have said, okay, while doing TikTok, leveling of a compass is done with the aim of freely swinging of graduated circle ring of the prismatic compass. I will explain you how what is this with the help of the figure. The ball and the socket arrangement on the tripod will help to achieve a proper level of the compass. This can be checked by rolling a round pencil on the glass cover. Okay. Here we can see this compass. Okay, the sorry, the graduation scale. Okay, so what it will be if I will draw two cases. Case number one, when your instrument is not perfectly leveled or bubbled. Okay, so I will draw some dotted line. This is the perfect horizontal line. When you place your compass startingly, it will be little bit slant. Okay, not perfectly horizontal. Okay, not perfectly horizontal. So you can see the scale, it will be, so when it is perfectly horizontal, okay, and this is case 2. Okay, so when your compass is perfectly horizontal, this scale or the graduated scale, okay, it will not touch the bottom of the compass or bottom of the box. Okay, it will be freely suspended. Okay, if it is not, means this graduation scale, okay, this scale you are seeing now, this one, if it is perfectly labeled, means it will not touch. Here you can see the gap. Okay, it is not touching the box. If it is not labeled correctly, means it will be touching like, it will be touching like this. Okay, means it is, the scale is not freely suspended. Okay, so with the help of this socket and with the help of this socket, what I can do, you just push this part little bit upper, and then it will become completely horizontal. Okay, here we don't have any bubbles. Okay, so how you will come to know that the instrument is leveled like this? When the entire scale, it is not touching at the bottom of the box. Okay, this is how we will do the leveling. Okay? Centering has completed, leveling has been completed. Now focusing. See, focusing you will see in most of the instruments like auto level, dumpy level. theodolite, total station, etc. Okay. See, I will explain you the what is the use of focus. Here there is a man standing, okay, and here another man is standing who is having the camera, okay, who is having the cam, and this A person want to take the pic of this B person, okay. So he is holding the camera, but he in the camera he is not able to see the person B face, okay. He is not able to see his face. Then what he will do, he will just touch the camera screen. Then what will happen, automatically the camera will focus the person, okay. Starting it will be little bit blur, then it will become the sharp image, okay. Similarly, we have some focusing, okay, in the different types of instrument. Another example I will give. Here there is one person, and here also there is another person. You have one camera, okay. You know depth effect, okay. Most of you, all the cameras will having the depth effect. Such that means the person will be seen very clearly and the background it will be blurred, okay. If the person is standing greater than 2 meter, okay, this depth effect cannot be observed, okay. What you will do, you will move to little bit towards the object or the person, okay. Then you will take the snap to have this depth effect. Similarly, we will do some focusing to see the object very clearly, okay. The prism is moved up or down in its slide till the graduations on the aluminum ring are seen clearly. Means here you can see the, this is a scale, okay, and this is your prism, okay. From here we will see the reading, correct. From here we will see the reading. Sometimes you are not able to see the readings very clearly, so what we will do, we will move little bit up or little bit down to see the reading very carefully. So this method is called as focusing. Okay. Then we have observing bearing of a line. Means this is my station A, this is my station B, okay. I'm observing a from to B, from A to B, okay. This line is called as bearing line, okay? Consider a line AB of which magnetic bearing is to be observed. Means with respect to magnetic north, we are observing the station B. Okay, with the help of the magnetic north, we are observing the station B. Consider a line AB of which the magnetic bearing is to be observed. Let the ranging rod be fixed at B. Okay, what we will do, we will fix one rod at this point. Okay, A is person standing here, and we will fix one rod at this point. Okay, from here we will see the ranging rod. Okay, let the ranging rod be fixed at B in a line AB and compass is centered on A. Turn the compass in the direction of line AB. Means here you will have one vane of I vane and another one object vane. Okay, you should turn this object vane and I vane towards the station B. I will show you the figure. Okay, so this is my I vane and this is my I vane, from where I will see the image. This is the object vane where I will bisect the ranging rod. So what I will do, I will move little bit right hand side, little bit left hand side, such that I can see this ranging rod. Okay. So this is called as bisecting the object. moving right hand side or left hand side with the help of eye prism and this eye vane and object vane. We will see like this. Okay. So here we can see this hair. Okay. Here it is here. See here you can see this thin hair. Okay. So it should bisect the ranging rod. If this is my ranging rod, okay, and the hair should be at this point. Means both should be in the same line, like ranging. Okay. So we should bisect. We should keep our compass at station A, and we should bisect the station B. Okay. When B is bisected or when B is observed by the vertical hair, just now I have shown you the vertical hair. That is, when ranging rod at B comes in a line of sight of eye vein and vertical hair, means all should be in a straight line. Okay, ranging rod, hair, and eye vein, all should be in a straight line. Okay. That is when ranging rod B comes in a uh, line with the side of eye vein, vertical hair, or vertical hair of the object vein. Then the reading under the vertical hair through the prism. Okay, how we will read the reading with the help of the prism. Through prism, we will see the graduated scale. Okay, so through prism is taken, which gives the bearing line AB. Okay, the enlarged portion gives the actual pattern of the graduation mark on the plane. Okay, with the help of the prism, we will adjust and we will see the reading. Okay, see here, there is an example. So see here, my needle is always pointing towards the north hand side. This is my needle. Okay, it is pointing towards the north, and here you can see some scale. Okay, this is called, we will call as a graduated ring. Okay, so now here I have my station A. Okay, and here I have a station B where I have fixed the ranging rod. Okay, so from here I am seeing the reading. So I'm seeing the object at the B. Okay, then what you should do, you should see the object after bisecting, then you should take the reading. So this theta is taken. Okay, this is called as how this is how we will measure the angle or bearing. Okay, so anybody having doubt? Anybody having doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. What about others?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Then we have surveyor compass. It is also same. Okay, it is similar to the prismatic compass, except that it has only plain eye slit. Okay, instead of eye slit with prism. Okay, here prism it is not there, and eye holes. Okay, here you can see these two veins are there. This compass is having pointed magnetic needle in a place of board from needle, as in case of prismatic compass. Okay, here also you can see the needle which is suspended freely on the board. Here also the same thing, we will go for centering, leveling and observing the bearing line. Okay, the first two operations are similar to that of prismatic compass, but the method of taking observation differ from that. Okay, observing a bearing of line in this type of compass, the reading is taken from the top of glass and under the tip of north end, and the so means north end, which it will be pointing towards the northern side. Okay, north of the magnetic needle directly. No prism is provided here. Means in prismatic compass, what we were doing, it will be pointing towards somewhere, and this is our line of sight. So we were taking this reading. Okay, but in surveyor compass, so this is my reading, somewhat reading here. Okay, and north is pointing towards the 90-degree, means we will take it as 90-degree. It is pointing towards the 30-degree, means we will take the reading as 30-degree. Here we were doing with respect to the magnetic meridian and line of sight, but here directly we were taking the reading from the northern point. Okay, so this is what surveyor compass and prismatic compass. So the important thing is that we will see the difference between the prismatic compass and the surveyor compass. The graduation scale is fixed to the board, fixed to board type needle. Hence, it will not rotate. Okay, with the line of sight. But here it will rotate. The graduation scale is fixed to the box. Hence, it rotates with the line of sight. Just now I have showed in the mobile. Okay. The prism is sorry, there is a prism at a viewing end. Okay, here we have a prism dot, but here we don't have any prism. Okay, sighting and reading are done simultaneously, but here sighting and viewing cannot be done simultaneously because we don't have any prism. Okay, so it is not done simultaneously. Magnetic needle do not act as an index. Okay, so it does not act as a most important thing for the reading. Means directly it does not act, but here magnetic needle act as a direct index. Why? Because we will take, if it is pointing towards the 90-degree, means we will take it as a 90-degree. It was pointing towards the 30-degree, means we were taking the 30-degree. So the needle act the direct index for the reading. Okay, the graduations are in whole circle bearing. Okay, we will see this one, whole circle, what is whole circle bearing and a quadrilateral systems. Okay, we will call it as WCB, and here we have QS system. Okay, so the graduations are marked inverted since its reflection is right through the prism. Means it will be marked in the inverted type. Means if it is 90-degree, it is like this. Means it will be marked like this. Okay, means we are seeing through the prism. The graduations are marked directly. 90-degree will be marked as 90-degree, 30-degree will be marked as 30-degree, because we are not taking any reading through the prism. The reading is taken through the prism. Okay, the reading is directly viewed from the top glass. Tripod may or may not be used. It can be held or stretched hand only, but here the tripod is essential. Here tripod we can use or we can't use, but here the tripod is necessary. Okay, this is some difference between the prismatic compass and surveyor compass. Okay. Bearing. The bearing of a line is horizontal angle which it makes with reference to meridian. Okay, depending upon the meridian, there are four types of bearing. That is true bearing, magnetic bearing, okay, grid bearing, and arbitrary bearing. Okay, for us, these two are most important. Okay, true bearing and magnetic bearing. What is true bearing? I will show the figure. Okay, true bearing of a line is, listen it very carefully. It is most important. Your questions, he will twist it. Okay, sometimes he will ask to calculate the bearing with respect to true bearing, or sometimes he will ask with respect to magnetic bearing. Okay, so listen these two very carefully. True bearing of a line is horizontal angle between true meridian and the survey line. Okay, remember, true meridian and survey line. The true bearing is measured from true north. True north means what? Geographical north in clockwise direction. Okay. Initially, I have said you the reading will be taken with in the clockwise direction. Okay. I will read once more. True bearing of a line is the horizontal angle. Okay. We are measuring the angle. Means this is station A, station B, station C. Okay. We are measuring the angles. Okay. Between the true meridian and the survey line. True bearing is measured from the true north. Keep it remember it very important in the clockwise direction. What is magnetic meridian bearing? The magnetic bearing of a line is a horizontal angle, okay, which makes the line with the magnetic north. Okay. Once I will show you the figure, you will understand it. Okay. So this is the geographical north. Okay. See, if your angle is making with the true north, okay, then we will call it as a true bearing. Okay, sometimes there will be some declination, okay, some error. Okay, so it will be not pointed towards the geographical north. Okay, true north. It will be not pointing towards the true north. So there will be some declinations. Okay, it may be this side or maybe this side. Okay. So if you are taking the reading with the error one or the magnetic with the help of the magnetic declination or with the magnetic line, so we will call it as the magnetic bearing. Okay, I will explain you once more. If you are taking the reading, so remember this one. Okay, if the angle is measured with the true north, okay, then it is called as true bearing. If you are measuring with the magnetic north, then you will call it as a magnetic bearing. Okay. See, this is the true north and this is the magnetic north. This may be due to some local attractions. Okay. The magnetic north will be due to some local attractions. Okay. See here, this alpha angle, it is called as true bearing from B to A or A to B. Okay, it is A to B. Okay, so beta B is called as magnetic bearing because it is measured with respect to the magnetic north. Okay, so just remember true north and magnetic north, true bearing and magnetic bearing. Bearing and arbitrary bearing is not so important. I was telling you we have two systems, okay, that is WCB and QB. This is used in prismatic compass. This is used in surveyor compass. Okay, this whole circle bearing system WCB WCB is whole circle bearing and QB is nothing but the quadrilateral bearing system. Means we are dividing this is north, south, east, west. Okay, so here you are taking reading means say that this is 60 degree. Okay, here also what I will do, this is 60 degree. In whole circle bearing, what how we will present it is directly we will measure, we will get say that this is 60 degree. But in quadratic system, what we will do, north 60 degree east. We will represent like this. South 45 degree east means here 45 degree. Okay, here it is 60 degree. Say south 60 degree east. Suppose this is 20 degree, it will be north 20 degree west. But in case of whole circle bearing, we will give the reading as this is my first angle 60 degree. We will directly write 60 degree. Here it is. Okay, it will be say 120 degree. So we will write 120 degree. Suppose it is like this, we will write 270. It is like this, it is 310 degree. Okay, like this we will represent in the whole circle bearing. Okay, and it will be always in the clockwise direction. Just remember, it will be always in clockwise direction. And in a quadrilateral bearing system, north, south, east, west. Okay, any angle, if you are representing it, it should be with respect to north only. Okay, here also it should be with respect to south. Here it should be north, here it should be with respect to south. So we will see whole circle bearing. Bearing of a line measured with respect to magnetic meridian in clockwise direction is called as magnetic bearing, and its value varies from 0 degree to 360 degree. Means if you draw like this, the total is 360 degree. The quadrants start from north and progress in clockwise direction, as first quadrant is 0 to 90 degree. In clockwise direction, second will be 90 to 180. This thing you already know this one. Okay, north, south, east, west. This is 90 degree. This is how much? 90 plus 90, 180 degree. I mark like this: 0, 90, 180, 270, and 360. Okay, first quadrant, fourth quadrant, third quadrant, second quadrant. But we will go here in a clockwise direction. 0, 0 plus 90 is 90 degree. Here also it is 90. 90 plus 90 is 180. 180 plus 90 is 270. 270 plus 90 is 360. Okay. This is how it will is represented in the whole circle bearing. Okay. Here we have one angle, another angle. So we have different types of angle which I have drawn before and explained you. Okay, 60 degree, 120 degree, 270 degree, like that. Okay. This is how this graduated ring. Okay, we will see in the prismatic compass. Okay, if it is pointing like this, we will take the reading this angle. In quadrant system, initially I have said we will be having like this: north, south, east, west. Okay, so directly we will take the with respect to north one. In this system, the bearing of the survey line are measured with respect to north line or south line. Okay, whichever is the nearest to the survey line, okay, and either in clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction. But in whole circle bearing, we will take in the clockwise direction. Here you can take it as either in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. The bearing of the line which falls in first quadrant and fourth quadrant are measured with respect to north. Means here, so we will reverse the procedure. Initially, we were what we were doing. We will call this the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. Okay. In PUC, you learned like this, but in survey, we will go a little bit in reverse order. Okay. If I draw the quadrant, this is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. Okay. So this is my north, south, east, west. Okay. So if your angle is falling in the first quadrant and the fourth quadrant, it should be measured with respect to what? North. Okay. Well, if it is falling in the second quadrant and the third quadrant, it should be measured with respect to south. Okay. Uh, okay, first quadrant and fourth quadrant, the angles are measured with respect to north line. Is nearer than the south line. Okay. If the bearing falls in the second quadrant and the third quadrant, it should be measured with respect to the south line. Okay. The surveyor compass measures the bearing of a line in the quadrant system. Okay. It will measures in the quadrant system. So we have reduced fore bearing, reduced bearing, forward side, back side is there. reduced bearing. Okay, when the whole circle of bearing of a line is converted into the quadratic bearing, it is termed as the reduced bearing. Okay, when you are converting whole circle bearing to the quadrilateral bearing, then it is termed as the reduced bearing. Thus, the reduced bearing is similar to the quadrant bearing. Its values lies between 0 to 90 degree, but the quadrant should be mentioned for the proper designation. Okay, here only I will show you. So this is my north direction, south direction, east, west. Okay. So here this is our northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. Okay. So here you can see it is 70 degree, 35 degree, 55 degree, and 30 degree. Okay. Suppose in the whole circle bearing, if it is measuring say this is 120 degree. Okay, you want to convert into the quadratic system. I will convert it. Just you will draw one line. This is 90. Okay, what will be this remaining one? 120 degree minus 90 degree, which is equals to 30 degree. Okay, so here we have got 30 degree. Okay, but we will take with respect to what? South direction. Okay, if this is 630, then this will be 60 degree because the total angle will be 90 degree. Okay, so we can write south 60 degree east. Okay, this is how we will do some conversation. I'll draw the diagram like this: north, south, east, west. Whole circle bearing 0 to 90 degree means this much. Okay, reduce. If you want to reduce this one, it will come in northeast direction. Okay, 90 to 180 means this portion, which is southeast direction. 120 to 270 means this one, which is southwest. Okay, and 270 to 360 means this one, means northwest direction. These are simple mathematics. Okay, and sometimes you want to convert this reduced bearing into the whole circle bearing. For example, it is given like it is given that south 45 degree east. Okay, what you do, just draw the quadrant north, south, east, west. Okay, south 45 east means it is falling between this thing. Okay, so what I will do, I will draw a line. South 45 means I should draw with respect to south, that is 45 degree. Okay, now I want to convert it to whole circle bearing. Okay, therefore if this is 45, this will be also how much? 45. This will be also 45 degree. Okay, hope you can't see this. Okay, and this is 90 degree. Okay, therefore the total angle in whole circle bearing, it will be 90 plus 45, which is equals to 135. This is how we will convert from quadratic system to whole circle bearing and whole circle bearing to quadratic system. Okay. Then we have fore bearing and back bearing. Okay. I will take it at 2 p.m. sharp. So up to now, anybody having doubt means they can ask the doubts. Anybody having doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So at 2 o'clock again I will take the class. Okay. You can leave the class. If anybody having documents, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave the class. You can write 90 degree north, 90 degree east, or you can directly say it is in northern direction. Shubham. North 90 degree east. Okay.